mouth, and if I look like I'm confused or on a slight delay in talking, that's because I'm waiting for my interpreter to translate.
A round of applause for our interpreter, and give Ricky your applause! This is how we applaud for Ricky. Yes. Yes, Joey?
Yeah, man, I was late on that. Hi, I'm Joey Kidney. I make videos about mental health online, and I'm just excited to open up the conversation. That's basically it. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Bradley, and I don't even want to call my content. I just post like random stuff on the internet. I started as a singer, and now I do I don't even know, vlogs, pranks, stupid stuff.
Just having fun.
Yeah, we're just having fun. And the mental health, what I'm excited about, I just think opening the conversation, like what you said, opening the conversation up to everybody, and just, everybody has their own issues, so normalizing that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm Maya, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
Make everybody feel welcome. Thank you, Maya.
Yeah, and I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm just excited to share my story, hear other people's story, and just open up the conversation.
Hello, my name is Noah Boat, and I make comedy sketches on YouTube, and I'm currently a full-time college student at Drexel University in Philadelphia. I graduated in June. I'm just trying to talk about the stress that I've had with my YouTube success, and also trying to finish up school.
Nice. So, it's interesting because, I started YouTube in 2006, and I remember maybe around 2012 or 13, it seems like people started talking about anxiety and depression and mental health. But for the first few years, you would not have seen a content creator mentioning any sort of personal struggles. I think most of us were just like, we're here to entertain you. And then the moment the fourth wall was broken, I think a lot of creators were so grateful and be like, oh, I'm really struggling. So what do you guys think you've seen in the last 5 or 6 years or since you started on YouTube? How has the conversation about mental health shifted online and offline? Joey, this is what you talked about in your videos, so what maybe specifically have you noticed?
Well, over the past year, I think it's been more of a trend than anything. But the years before that, I thought it was kind of like the domino effect, where one person opened up about it, then somebody else felt okay, so then they opened up about it, and it was just this feel-good moment. And then it's kind of, I don't like to be the person to say it, but I feel like it's more of a trend right now, where everyone's just piling on, which is great, but it's also overwhelming for the people who are am I actually dealing with this? Is this something that I need to go get help for or go see a doctor for? And I think it's amazing that we're opening up the conversation. I think it's amazing that we're doing this, and there needs to be more of this. Jesus Christ. I just think it's good that we're opening it up, but you just have to be careful of who you're listening to.
I've never been the person that was embarrassed about my anxiety, fortunately, or depression. I've been so open about it. A lot of people think it's super taboo to talk about and super embarrassing. I have anxiety and depression, and when you talk about it with somebody, they get real quiet. Oh, I have depression and anxiety. And I've always been I have depression and anxiety. I don't really. It's just something that I own. I call it my superpower now, just because I feel like I can feel more than most people, so I consider it to be something that is kind of a strength. Yeah. It's most people can't, they will never understand what it's like to have a panic attack or understand what it's like to be so overwhelmed by emotion and feeling. So I just call it my superpower, and I think it's kind of cool.
I love that. I think that's an amazing takeaway from this entire panel. If you left now, it'd be oh, anxiety and depression as a superpower versus a crippling disease. Because I also think it's coming out as a gay person. I think it's it's a part of you. You have brown hair, you have green eyes, you're gay, you have anxiety. Gay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm too loud for microphones. But yeah, I think it's a part of who you are, not who you are. Maya, what do you find in you're a singer, so how do you incorporate that into your music, or?
Yeah, for me, I always write about what I'm experiencing, and last year in particularly was a very hard year for me, so I ended up writing a song, Sad Songs, which is my biggest song right now, and I just honestly put everything I was feeling into that song, and I guess a lot of people relate to it since it is my biggest song, so yeah, I just kind of be honest with what I'm feeling.
Ricky, when you started on YouTube, like what was your like first content you were creating, and is it just something you kind of evolved into talking about? Like what's your personal experience with sharing your own story on YouTube? Oh, I'm sorry, I just kind of just said, like what is yours? No, I kind of made it up. Like when you started on YouTube, like when did you start talking about things like related to this?
Yeah, so you know how with depression is obviously like a big mental topic, but then in certain minority groups it's even much bigger of a taboo. So yeah, like in the deaf community we don't talk about it at all because like just other like I don't know what it is. But yeah, so like when I found that out, and I was scared to talk about it, not only just because it's a taboo in the deaf community, but also just because it's negative and nobody really wants to talk about it, So when I was just feeling like I couldn't talk about it, because I also couldn't do therapy because the inaccessibility with therapy is a major thing. Like I would spend weeks, even I did it again recently, trying to find a therapist that would, be affordable, because deaf community is one of the highest unemployment rates, or underemployed rates. And so trying to find somebody affordable, also trying to find somebody fluent in ASL is difficult. And even then, if you wanted to try to request an interpreter, they'll make you pay for it instead of them providing it. So that's not only do you have to pay for the therapy appointment, but then you have to pay probably even double that for the interpreter. Nobody can do that, once a month, twice a month even. And so I was just like, okay, I'm kind of tired of keeping it all in. I'm not going to get too much into detail for YouTube right at this second, but I was like, maybe this will help out a little bit. And it got other people, other deaf viewers of mine that I might also have depression, and it's good that you're talking about it because nobody else in the community is. All hush hush about it.
And I think for a lot of YouTubers, they find that, I don't say this lightly, being a YouTuber is almost free therapy. Like when you turn on the vlogging camera, you're certainly not talking to a professional, but it certainly is a way of getting out emotions and stuff. So I think a lot of vloggers really benefit from sharing their stories online. Noah, so you said, you're a comedic vlogger, but your struggles have been basically dealing with the stuff that comes along with YouTube success. Kind of speak to that a bit.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of pressure being an online creator, and that we just have this thing where we're expected to make videos non-stop. And I've been posting 2 to 3 videos a week with my partner, who also shares a channel with me for the past 3 years. And I'm just scared if I slow up or if I stop that I'm going to become irrelevant or fall off the YouTube algorithm and it'll lower my rank. So it's just the pressure. You just always have to put out something. And the videos I do, I don't really sit in front of the camera and talk to stuff. I make sketches, so it's mostly scripted. So it is just harder to just constantly find the motivation to keep doing it because you don't want to lose everything you just built.
What do you do to find motivation?
Just the stuff on parodies on rappers, school skits, and advice videos.
So I think that's all YouTubers though, so struggling with that. If you were doing something in another field too, it's you're just applying that same sort of thing to YouTube, in any other career, but I think YouTube is unique to, like you said, and all those thoughts of spiral, I'm going to follow the algorithm, I'm not going to be relevant. I always tell people the moment you're relevant to yourself, you're not that worried about being relevant to YouTube or to other people, but that's a separate conversation. So in terms of your channels and stuff, talk about how do you share your own struggles and share your own story? Is it do you make vlogs about what you're dealing with? And is it after the fact, or sometimes do you ever turn on the camera and be this is what I'm going through? Can anybody speak to that? When they've been really depressed or really anxious, or how they are incorporating mental health topics into their channel? That's for anybody, please share.
Yeah, so the channel specifically, I don't really address all that. It's more the stuff that I deal with off camera. So it's just, everything else is just happy smiles on camera, but it's just off camera where I have to deal with the pressure of constantly pushing out new content.
I film my anxiety attacks. I film my panic attacks. I remember I was at the dog park with my dog, Charlie, who I love. And the people that I'm a regular at the dog park, I go every day. And people know I do YouTube and whatever, and I was having a horrible, horrible anxiety attack, and one of the guys was like, "Do we like film you?" And I was like, "Yeah, like why not?" I love normalizing mental health. I just think it should be a normal thing we talk about now. It's nothing that should be taboo. I mean, look at how many people are killing themselves from like the whole mental health thing. And then everybody gets behind it, and then it just kind of gets hush hush until something else happens. And then it's hush hush again. I don't know. Every time that I feel like I'm going through a really really difficult time, that's the time I should film, as opposed to like always trying to be happy on camera because I'm like everybody else. I go through like really really shitty times and times where I like months on end. Like a depression for me could be like a day, or it could be a month, or it could be months on end. So I don't know. I literally film my anxiety attacks, and those are some of like every time I meet people, that's like the stuff that they always say like really sticks with them. So I feel like that's something I want to like really push this year and like even do more. But like I mean, filming panic attacks, it's like if you suffer from that, like you would know it's not like an easy thing to do. But
It's a great way to understand it though.
yeah,
It's a really, really great way. And it's kind of like, I don't want to compare it to this, but I grew up a hockey player and then I got injured and I wasn't able to play anymore. And it's kind of like watching your games back and seeing what you can do a little bit better. And maybe not necessarily in that sense, but watching it back and be like, okay, how did this impact me? How am I handling this? What am I going through right now? And just watching yourself just be in so much pain. Feel fucking bad for yourself. Sorry, no, that's fair.
It's fair.
Feel bad for yourself. Like it's okay. You're going through something so tough right now, and I think it's like I filmed them as well, and I film like every single time. I think it's very therapeutic. I think it's amazing to get out. My parents hate it. They're like,
why would you put that on the internet? My dad always says like, why would you put that on the internet?
for me, it's so much easier to say to the whole entire world than it is to say to one person. And I feel like I don't know, just like getting it out there. But it's very therapeutic for me. And a lot of times I'll film it and I'll put it out there, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna understand it myself. I just posted a video that was very, very open and very scary, and I'm getting a lot of messages. I've already handled that situation, so answering those messages is just something that's like, it's on the back burner for me because I'm already like addressing that because I filmed it, and that's a therapy for me. And I don't know, it does get expensive, so kind of like trying to understand it for yourself and really trying to find it.
What brings on your anxiety, if you don't mind me asking?
What doesn't?
Is yours physical? I have really physical anxiety. Is yours like a mental thing? So for me, I get like shallow breath, I get faint.
Oh, I get my right nose bleeds, nostril. Then I can get like some hair loss. I will, there's like a urination problem. This is TMI, holy.
Alright, is it mental?
It's everything. My whole
Mine's
entire
not so
body.
much mental.
But like I take that and I try to understand it. Like I'm not worried if I'm anxious right now. That's fine. I'm just like letting my body scream. And what I do is I always carry like a huge water bottle with me. I think water bottles are like so good. Stay hydrated, kids. This is essentially a water plug.
Drink water.
Isn't it interesting though, we have, like Noah who says he doesn't film anything about that. He's like, I just want to be a comedy creator and I want to kind of handle this in my own way. And then, we have Bradley saying, I'm actually filming my panic attack. So I think that speaks to, we all wish to handle things differently. And there's not a right or way. Like, if I said to Noah right now, film yourself having a panic attack, he'd probably say, no, thank you very much. And if Bradley, on the other hand, for him, it is a strategy and it's good for him to do that. So it's interesting as a content creator how what works for one person doesn't work for the other people. Do you guys feel, it's almost like a gay thing, like when you're gay, do you feel obligated to tell people you're gay? Do you guys feel obligated to kind of be an activist or have a voice for other people who may be struggling since you have a platform? Ricky, do you want to take that one? Do you feel obligated, even as a deaf person talking about mental stuff?
It gets complicated because, I like doing what I do, but I also feel like sometimes if you want to break from it because it gets a little stressful, and people are just like, if you want to make a change, and they're like, well, why aren't you still talking about this? Or like, we want you to talk about every single thing that happens, like on Twitter, if you're not talking about this, if you're not talking about that, then you're being a bad advocate and whatever. And it gets so tiring, so it sucks because I'm like, okay, so this is what I do. Yes, I spend this much time making videos about this and that I guess I do almost feel sort of like the pressure to keep on doing it. But I do hate it when just at the same time, I hate it because I feel like if you don't do it, then you're doing something wrong, and then you're not allowed to take a break for yourself because you're talking about it. Sometimes makes it worse, you know?
Right.
I mean, I don't think you need to walk up and be like, "Hi, I'm Joey, and I have depression," every single time. If you feel comfortable, go for it. If you want to go do that, you can do that. But I don't think, I think you have to be comfortable with it for yourself first before you like walk on and be like, "Hey, what's up, guys? Anxiety's right here." Woo! You know what I mean?
Hey, depression.
You have to feel comfortable enough to be able to stand there and say that at the same time, because I guarantee you, if you say that, a little bit of anxiety is going to hit you. You're going to start sweating a little bit.
I just have never been one. I've just been so open about it my whole life. I've never
You're comfortable with it, right?
I'm as comfortable with that as just like breathing. It just doesn't, like, so many people are so, I think it's such a taboo and like scary thing to talk about, and I've just always been like, why is that, why is that something that's bad to talk about? Like, logically, why is that bad? When we all have things that we go through as just people, and we all have like, how many?
So you guys are on a mental health. Sorry, Ricky.
I thought this was gonna happen. And I noticed like sometimes like when you talk about it, they want you to talk about it, and then sometimes the same people like in the next day are like, "Why are you so negative about it all the time?" I'm like, "You wanted me to talk about it and like let it out in the open, but now you're negative," and it's like, how can you find the middle ground? Sometimes you can't.
Joey also kind of said it's trendy now, and I think to speak to what you were saying, it's like, right, you see even like people who are like TV personalities, like I don't know, Piers Morgan in the UK, like he'll jump on it, like on Twitter, talking about anxiety and depression, like people are like monetizing their like struggles, or like like when they used to say, oh, it's cool to be bisexual, or it's cool to be gay, now oh, it's cool to, you know, but I think it's like anything with shame, when you felt the shame, at one point, once you don't feel the shame, you're like, oh, I do want to kind of talk about it, because there really is no shame. Do you guys feel any shame? I mean, you're at a mental health panel, so clearly, are you guys comfortable talking about stuff like this? Yes, yeah. And I think the younger people too, like people my age, I'm 44, I think people my age and your parents' age are like, oh yeah, don't talk about it, or just get over it. Like that's all my mother used to always say, if I see melancholy, get over it, and I did. I was. So now it's like, I think we're all just more comfortable talking about our feelings, and I think YouTube is a great platform for that, because you see your favorite creators, and they're like, oh, they're having a bad day, and that's okay. It doesn't mean, you know, it's the end of the world. You know, we all have good days and bad days. So what do you guys do, like, when you're struggling? Like, what do you, like, are you in therapy? Do you talk to your friends? Like, what are your best strategies for dealing with stuff?
Yeah, for me, I tried the whole like medication thing, and then that didn't really work. It kind of made it worse for me. So now I'm just seeing a counselor, and that honestly helps. But I saw another counselor like last year, and it didn't help. So it's all about finding like what works best for you and who like works best for you.
So anybody, yeah, if you're in, like, what is, it didn't work, it's almost like a relationship with a therapist, like, did you tap out instantly, or like a bad boyfriend and just stay for a couple months, hoping it would get better? Can you speak to that? Because I think a lot of people are interested in finding a therapist, but you're right, it is like dating almost.
Like for me, the place I went at first, they kind of treat everything, so I saw a doctor there who gave me medication. I've tried like a few different ones. And then I also saw the therapist that was there. And it kind of felt like they were really just there as a business and didn't really care so much to help me. And so then I went to a person who's strictly a counselor, and I've just connected with her so well, and I feel so open, and like she truly understands and wants to help me. So I feel like that's what's really helped me recently.
Nice.
Are you gonna?
I was gonna say, it depends on your anxiety though. Because mine's so physical that if I saw a counselor, it's not going to necessarily help my symptoms and how, like, even watching your leg shake. That's what I do.